Okay, good morning or good afternoon, guys, whenever you're watching this. This lesson is still Unit 2, Lesson 3, parallel lines and triangle sums. So your clear learning target is I can use the sum of angles and triangles to solve problems. So, sorry about that, I got a little tickle in my throat. We want to prove the sum of the interior angles of a triangle equals 180 degrees. So interior angles, we know that's inside, so we're talking about the 2, 4, and 5, the inside angles. So we're going to prove that a triangle adds to 180. So if we think about these three angles for a second, 1, 2, and 3, they form a straight line. So they're supplementary angles on the straight line, and we know that this is going to be 180. So what we can say is, we can say the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 plus the measure of angle 3, so those three angles, is going to equal 180 degrees because they form a straight angle, a straight line. Now we come back to the diagram, and we notice that we do have parallel lines here. And so we have parallel lines, and we got a transversal there and a transversal here, so we have two transversals. And so that means angle 1 and angle 4, those are alternate interior. And if we remember alternate interior, then we know that these are congruent. And then so we can say that angle 1, the measure of angle 1 is equal to the measure of angle 4. Then we can come over to the other side and we see that we have angle 3 and angle 5. And those are also alternate interior, which means they are congruent. So we can say that 3 is equal to 5. So the measure of angle 3 is equal to the measure of angle 5. So the mission was to prove that a triangle equals 180. So if I notice that if 1 is 4, then that means 4 can replace 1. And if 3 is 5, then 5 can replace 3. So we get the statement, the measure of angle 4 plus the measure of angle 2 plus the measure of angle 5 is 180. So I've substituted 4 for 1, 5 for 3. And if I look at those three angles, 4, 2, and 5, 4, 2, and 5, they're inside the triangle. So triangle sum is 180 degrees. Now you may already remember that from middle school, but it's an important thing that we need to know, not just for this lesson, but for the whole course, that the inside angles, the interior angles, have to add to 180 degrees. So that brings us down here to some very basic problems. We have three angles in these triangles. We need to find the missing angle. Well, I know that this one plus 76 plus 31, the total has to be 180 degrees. So I take these two, so 76 plus 31, that's 7. That's 107, and then 180 minus 107 leaves us with 73 degrees. So it means X needs to be 73. Because if this is 73, then these three have to be 180. All right, and then we keep going. For the next one, same concept. We know that these three need to add to 180, so I take the two that I know, 59 plus 42, and of course you can use the calculator for this to do it a little bit quicker. So that is 101, and then 180 minus 101 is going to be 79. So Y is going to be 79 degrees. These are easy problems to check because after you have your answer, you know those three have to be 180 together. All right, so we're going to take that and keep applying it to more problems. So if you want to pause the video and give this one a go on your own, you can, or we can keep going. So on this problem, I have a big triangle. So I've got like this big blue triangle right here. And then I have a small triangle here. And then I've got a third triangle over here on the right hand side. I need to solve for x and y. Well, if I look, forget about these for a second. X, I know two other angles, so I can find x pretty quick. So I can take 23 and 54, and I get 77. So 180 minus 77, that's going to be 103 degrees. So x is going to be 103. Okay, so there's a couple of different ways you can keep going from here. But what I'm thinking is that these two angles here have to make 180. So if this side is 103, then this side is 77. And now that gets me over to this triangle. So y is outside, but I know that these two right here, these two angles need to also make 180 because they are a straight angle, straight line. So I'm going to try to find this angle right here first, try to find this one. So I got 36 and 77, so 36 plus 77, that's 113. And then I'm going to say 180 minus 113, that's going to get us to 67. So this angle is 67 degrees, and it's going to help me find this angle here. So these have to be 180 together, so I can just say 180 minus 67, and again, calculator can come in handy here. That is 113. So this angle is 113. So x is 103 and y is 113. So it takes a little time, but I think you guys can figure out pretty quick. So again, if you want to pause the video here and have a go at the one below it, you can. Okay, so continuing on, again, kind of the same concept. I've got this triangle here that x is a part of. So I can quickly solve for x because I know that this angle and this angle and this angle have to make 180. So 35 plus 96, that's 131. 131 degrees, and so then I do 180 minus 131, and that is going to be 49. So this x right here is 49 degrees, so we got that one. Now I just keep going over here. So you got a couple of choices here. You got this angle and the y, and you're also missing this angle right here. And these two angles, again, have to make 180, straight line. So I can say 180 minus 96, 180 minus 96. So that's 17, that'd be 84. So this angle is going to be 84. And so these three need to make 180, talking about this triangle right here. So we can say 77 plus 84 is 11. That's 161. So 180 minus 161. A very small angle. It's going to be 19 degrees, which makes sense. That's a very small angle up here. 19 degrees. So y is equal to 19. So again, all this comes back to this right here. The triangle sum has to be 180 degrees. All right, so we got one more here on the front. what are the values of x and y in this figure? So I got two triangles, but this one over here is the one I want to work with first. And the reason this is the one I want to work with is because I already know two of the angles and I need the third one. So just 57 plus 59, that's 116. 180 minus 116 is 74. No, too much. Sorry about that. 180 minus 116 is 64 degrees. So x is 64. And now if you notice, hopefully you remember the name of these angles here. Those are vertical angles. So those are vertical. So if this is 64, then this is 64. And now that gets us over here to this triangle. And you already know two of the angles, 64 and 42. 106. And then 180 minus 106 is 74. So my two answers were 64 and 74. So x was 64 degrees and y is 74 degrees. But again, it all comes back to this right here. It comes back to triangle sum equals 180. All right, so let's go to the back. Okay, so now we're into exterior angle theorem. So when you see exterior, we should always think outside. Okay, so outside, and that's referring to this angle here. This is our exterior angle. Okay, so there's your exterior angle. And we should remember that these two angles, so one and this one, they need to make 180 because they're in a straight line. But this angle is a linear pair to that angle. And these two angles, these two right here, these are what we call remote interior. Remote because they are away from the exterior angle. So you think about your television remote control is away from the TV, so a remote means away. So away from this angle here. So the exterior angle tells us that the sum of the remote angles equals the exterior angle. So in simple terms here, that means if we add angle 3 and angle 2, so the measure of angle 3 plus the measure of angle 2, that's going to equal the measure of angle 1. To put it with numbers, if this is 20 degrees and this is 100 degrees, then that would be 100 plus 20, so this is 120. And now we can definitely make sure that works, because if this is 120, then remember this right here has to make 180, so that would be 60, and then 100 plus 60 plus 120 is 180. So it still works. So 180 here, and then also these three make 180. So we're going to use this exterior angle theorem to quickly solve some of these other problems. Now once you think you have it, again, you can always pause the video or just skip ahead to the solutions. So I'm looking for angle 1. I've got these two angles here. I know that these two are going to equal that one. So just 75 plus 45, whoops, that is 120. So I know this needs to be 120 degrees. Now here I've got, this is my exterior, and I'm looking for one of the remotes. So I'm going to go backwards this time. So I'm going to say the exterior minus this one. So 8, and that is 58. So if I put 58 here, these two equal 109. So this has to be 58 degrees. All right, again, if you want to pause it and go ahead and work through these, that is up to you. So I got two remotes, so 54 plus 50. 111. And then here, this is my exterior. So I can just say 104 minus 49. 104 minus 49. Whoops. So that would be 55 degrees. So X is going to be 55. Okay, so we got just a little bit left. Come down here. So from the figure shown, Abby concludes that angle 1 is 85. It says, what is Abby's error? So we know that she's made a mistake, and how would you correct the mistake? So she is saying that angle 1 is 85. So let's see what she did. So if we took these two numbers, so remember this is an exterior, okay? This is an exterior, and it should be these two added together. So we say 62 plus 33, and we get 95. So it shouldn't be 85, it should be 95. And actually, angle 2 is what should be 85. So what's her error? It could be an adding mistake, or she could have said 180 minus 95 and got angle 2. So the measure of angle 1 equals 95 degrees. The measure of angle 2 is equal to 85 degrees. All right, got one problem left, classic problem here. So we're looking for A, B, and C using this diagram. This is what we call an angle chasing problem. So you need to know A before you can find B or C, or sometimes you need to know C before you can find A and B. So it's like you find one and then you can unlock the other ones. This one's not too bad. So you've got this triangle here I'm going to work with first. And the reason I'm going to work with this triangle first is because I already know two of the angles, and I only need this one. So A has to help these three get to 180. So I'm going to say 112 plus 33. So that's 145, and then 180 minus 145, that's going to be 35. So A is 35 degrees. Okay, and now it's kind of up to you where you want to go with this. You can go straight to B, or you can go to C. I'm going to go to C because it's in a triangle here, and again C has two angles, and we just need one more right here. We just need one more. So we can say, I'm going to come over here, so we have 43 plus 71, that's 114, so 180 minus 114, and that's going to be 66 degrees. So C is going to be 66. And again, these three have to make 180. And then the last one, you've got a straight angle here, a straight angle. So we know that these need to add to 180. So you've got 35, 71, and something. So 35, 71, and B. So we're just going to say 35 plus 71. That's 106. 180 take away 106 is 74. So 74 degrees. Nice thing about these is you can always check your work because you know the triangles have to add to 180. All right, so quick summary. The sum of the interior angles of a triangle is always 180 degrees, and an exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of the remote interior angles. Okay, so I know you have some practice online on Canvas. Use these notes to look at, to help you, and of course ask your classmates for help. All right guys, good luck.